Hey there, life editors. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Welcome to day 4 of Face Your Fear Week. Ooh. So we're having a lot of fun this week for Face Your Fear Week. And this is an event that I do every single year where we face some of the fears that we are dealing with in our lives and businesses. So that might be worrying or self-doubt or imposter syndrome or feeling like a failure. And we tackle these fears in different ways. This year, we're doing a little bit of a different kind of Face Your Fear Week because we are celebrating the launch of Startup in 60. So all of the fears that we're talking about this week are business fears. Yes. So any of you who are entrepreneurs, business owners, or thinking of starting a business, these Face Your Fear Week videos are for you. So we are celebrating the launch of Startup in 60, which is out right now. You can join Startup in 60 right now. There's a link in the description for this call, so you can join us. But what is Startup in 60? Startup in 60 is a time management course for busy women who are ready to finally start their own businesses, whether they have 60 days, 60 minutes, or even just 60 seconds. Yes, you can start a business in only 1 minute per day. I know that's a pretty big claim, but I've been running Startup in 60 for about 5 years now. And this new version of Startup in 60 is totally revamped, total new videos, new worksheets, everything. And this program works because we get rid of your excuses. The excuses that you say you don't have enough time to start a business, because every day you get to choose to either do a 60-minute or a 60-second task to move yourself forward. So even if you're only doing the 60-second tasks every day, your business is still growing, your business is still developing, and you're still going to have the same thing set up at the end, including a website, marketing plan, products and packages. So if that sounds good to you, if you are ready to start a business without a lot of hassle, even if you have a million other distractions going on, click the link in the description and join us for Startup in 60. All right, but this is Face Your Fear Week, and today we are talking about the fear of failure. Yeah, this is probably the most common fear that I see with business owners, is that we fear we're going to fail. Maybe we've never started a business before. Maybe we don't really know what we're doing. Oh, Janet says, hi, Sage, looking forward to the new and improved Startup in 60. Yeah, it is totally new and improved. So for those of you who've been following me for a while, I first launched Startup in 60 in 2015. And as you can imagine, in 5 years, technology has changed, social media has changed, systems have changed. There's a lot of better, faster, easier ways of doing things now, which is great. So I retired Startup in 60 so I could work on it in the background. And now a totally revamped and updated Startup in 60 is available with 60, that's 60, brand new daily videos, plus more than 30 clarity worksheets to help you start your business fast. So if you've taken Startup in 60 in the past, remember you have lifetime access. So go ahead and log into our portal and you'll see that you already have access. And I encourage you to take it again because it's really a brand new program. There's a lot new and updated information in it. And for those of you who have never taken Startup in 60, you're going to love it. You're going to just love it. Read some of the testimonials on the sales page because it's really phenomenal what you can do when you let go of your excuses and you just start moving forward 1 minute at a time. Okay, so the fear of failure is what we're talking about today. And we fear failing for a lot of reasons. And first of all, we probably have some kind of imposter syndrome where we think we don't really know what we're doing. We're not really qualified to start a business, and everyone is soon going to find out that we just don't know what we're doing. We're imposters, we're fakes, we're frauds. And that can be really scary. We don't want to fail because we were faking it the whole time. We also have a fear of failure because we don't want to look stupid. Yeah. And I know this has a lot to do with your self-worth, but if we put something out there, we don't want it to look stupid. Like, oh, my videos don't look as good as so-and-so's, or my logo looks really cheap compared to somebody else, or the platform or website that I'm using looks like it was made in the 90s as opposed to something modern and fresh. I get it. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to look like we're the bad version of it or like we're the half-assed version. We don't want to look stupid. I understand that completely. And a lot of times I still feel that too. I feel like, oh, I'm not doing it as good as so-and-so, or I don't look as slick and as polished as so-and-so. But we really just need to focus on doing the best that we can. And there's always going to be someone ahead of you. There's always going to be someone doing it bigger and better than you. And that's why we need to let go of comparison. And we work on that during the Startup in 60 program. Another reason we fear failure is because we know there is someone waiting on the sidelines who is just waiting to say, I told you so. I told you so. I told you you would fail. Oh, let me know if you have a person like that in your life. Leave a comment and let me know. Is there someone who maybe doesn't quite believe in you or someone who would be only too happy to see you fail? You might have a lot of naysayers in your life. Like maybe your parents are saying like, you can't start a business. You need a real career. You're going to fail if you try to start a business. Or maybe your spouse doesn't think you'll be earning enough money to actually support the family. And it's just like, I told you so. I told you it was a bad idea. It was wasteful. Or somebody else, maybe somebody else is just never believes that you're capable of what you are capable and can't wait to cut you down. Or maybe somebody else, one of your friends, started a business and they don't want you to start a business because then you'll be competition for them. Or what if you do it better than them? They want you to fail. They want to tell you, oh, it's too hard for you. You can't do it. Oh, Janet says, thankfully she does not. Good. I don't have anyone like that in my life, but I know a lot of people who do. A lot of people have people in their lives who just don't support what they're working on, don't support what they're doing. And they want to see you fail because it lifts them out. It makes them see like, see, I knew it. I was smart enough to see that you would fail. And that's a big fear. Like, so should we put ourselves out there? If we don't become successful, there's going to be all these people dragging us down even further. So I can see how that might make people freeze up and not even start a business to begin with. And the final reason that we fear failure is because we don't want to let our customers down. Yeah. And this comes from a really, really loving place. If you're starting a business because you have a solution to someone's problems, you really want to help that group of people, your ideal clients. If you put something out there that doesn't help them or doesn't make their lives better, or maybe isn't as good as they thought they were getting, or maybe doesn't live up to the expectations you put out there, you can feel really bad. You might be getting nasty comments from customers saying, hey, I thought we were going to get X, but instead we got Y. Or, hey, I thought this was going to help me do this thing, but you never talked about that thing. Or this thing wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. I want a refund, or whatever it is. And that can really, really chip away at your confidence. Like, oh, I failed my customers. I failed my clients because they didn't like what they got. And I will say that a lot of that is solely dependent on the customers and clients. As a life coach, I experience this a lot. Let me know if you're a coach in any capacity, because I'm sure you've experienced this, where you can put out as much advice, strategies, motivation, tools, and resources as possible. But if your client isn't willing to do the work, they're not going to get the results. That's the thing. So for my Startup in 60 program, if you do 1 minute of business work per day and you move through the modules, you're going to have certain things set up in your business. But if you give up during week 3, no, then in 60 days, you're not going to have a functioning business. So I do understand not wanting to let your customers down. But part of that is you have to let your customers take their own responsibility to do the work. And sometimes if your clients and customers are not going to do the work or not use the material the way that it's intended, then they're not going to get the results. So those are 4 reasons why we maybe fear failure. We have imposter syndrome when we just don't think we're up to it. We don't want to look stupid. We don't want to deal with the naysayers who say, I told you so. And we don't want to let our customers down. So yeah, leave a comment below. Let me know, have you ever felt this fear of failure? And has it slowed you down? And maybe which one of those excuses comes up the most often for you? Here's the thing, and I know you know exactly what I'm going to be talking about, is that as your coach, I want you to fail. What? What, Sage? No, it's true. I do want you to fail in some ways. People have this negative view of failure, and it's really not as bad as people make it seem. And especially failing is really beneficial in certain ways. So let's talk about that. If you think about where you are now, it's probably not where you want to be. There's probably a gap between the level you're at right now and the level you want to be, like Oprah level or whatever. And there's a big gap there. You're going to start closing that gap every time you make proactive steps to grow your business and to be successful. So for me, I am light years, absolute light years ahead of where I was 10 years ago when I started my business. Well, the things that I'm doing now are just completely out there. I would have never even dreamt them 10 years ago. So Janet's got it right. You're going to fail forward. Every mistake you make brings you closer to that ideal version of yourself. So yeah, you might not be where you want to be right now. And that might not ever change. Like me, I'm light years ahead of where I was 10 years ago, but I'm still not exactly where I want to be. I always want bigger and better and different things. And failing actually helps you clarify what you do and what you do not want. So let's say you start working with a certain group of clients and customers, and then you realize, oh, these are not the people I want to work with. These are not the people I want to deal with. You wouldn't know that unless you had tried, unless you had failed working with them. So for me, I don't work with men. I have men on my mailing list. I have men who are buying my passive income programs, but I don't work with men one-on-one. And that's because I used to work with men, and I kept running into the same issues where we would set up their homework, they would agree to do the work, and then they wouldn't do the work. And then they would get mad and wouldn't do the work. And I'd be like, why are you hiring me if you're not going to do the work? I think a lot of men probably needed to go see a therapist instead of a life coach to deal with maybe their issues of taking direction from a woman. So I don't work with men anymore. It's just not where my focus is. It's not where my talent is. I definitely work better with women. So think about that. You're not going to find your ideal client until you start working with clients. You might not be able to find your business niche until you actually start putting something out there. That happened to me. It took me a year to find my business niche because I wasn't really clear about what I was doing. And I couldn't do that until I had a lot of bad experiences saying oh, this isn't working. This isn't what I want to do, to narrow down what I do want to do. So failing helps you get that clarity. Failing also helps you make improvements. So sometimes putting something out there and saying, does it work or does it not work, can help you improve things, like whether that's your website not loading properly, or whether that's putting a class out there that is on one platform and it doesn't work, but if you move it to a different platform, it does work. So for me, I started out with an email course that I only got one sale on way back in the day. So I had an email course. It was a 30-day email course. Nobody bought it. Nobody wants to take an email course. They got too many emails coming in to begin with. But people do like courses on their own platforms, like go at your own pace type of video courses. And I've had much better success with those types of courses, including my Life Editor Clubhouse membership site and Startup in 60, which is out now. So think about that. You can't improve something unless you put it out there and see, does it sink or swim? Does it work or not? And failing, finally, also helps you remain more authentic and vulnerable. And this, again, goes back to the imposter syndrome, feeling a little scared about putting yourself out there. But if you put yourself out there, knowing that you might fail, knowing that something might blow up in your face, it helps you seem more real to your clients and customers. I was working with a coach once, and she was recording some kind of call for her clients or whatever, and her dog was barking and barking and barking and barking in the background. And she's like, this is what it is. We're just going to keep going. And she still put it out there because she had to get it out there. People were waiting for the information. But knowing that she has a dog, she's a real person, and her dog was making noise in the background, we can all relate to that. And that kind of endears you to your ideal clients. Your ideal clients will love you being you, flaws and all, imperfections and all. So for me, I put stuff out there, even if the lighting's not incredibly great, or even if my dog is barking in the background, or I don't know, if my hair looks weird or whatever. people just want the good information and they want it from an authentic person. I do understand that sometimes it's nice to buy something where it's all slick and packaged and everything is like absolutely perfect. But a lot of times those type of business owners or whatever seem a little fake. They're up on a pedestal. You can't touch them. They're perfectly polished in every way. It's like, do I really want to learn from someone who's 100 times better than me, more perfect than me? No, I'd rather learn from someone who's more like me, who has flaws, who makes mistakes, because that means if they can do it, then I can too. I don't have to be perfect to be successful. And failing will help you see that. Here's what we're going to talk about today is that though we have this fear of failure, the reality is you are smart enough to start a business and to run your own business. You are smart enough. You can do this. So even if you're going to fail, you are completely capable of making your own business. So here's the thing. You most likely do not need advanced degrees or certifications to run whatever type of business is exciting to you. So I always have to say, yes, of course, if you're a brain surgeon, I hope you went to medical school, yes. But for a lot of the types of businesses that my clients start, whether it's like health coaching or life coaching or jewelry making or an Etsy store or health and fitness or whatever it is that you're doing, graphic design, like whatever your business is, you probably don't need an advanced degree, which is great. You don't need to spend tons of money and years in school before you're ready to start a business. You don't even need a business degree now. And here's the reason, because the tools and resources that all the big names and big business owners are using are available to you right now. Yeah, like maybe 20 years ago, it would be a lot harder to start a business because a lot of the tools and resources cost a lot of money and were not available to the public. But now the things that even the big names use, you can use. You can use social media, just like the big names do. You can use different kinds of platforms and CRMs like Kajabi or Infusionsoft. You can send emails to your list, just like the big names. You can use photo editing software to design your own logo and your own fonts and your own images for your website. You don't have to spend tons and tons of money or have to seek out other professionals to do the work for you. Those tools and resources are available to you right now. I like to tell my clients that if you're struggling with anything, first go to Google and then go to YouTube and search whatever your problem is. Like, how do I upload a photo to WordPress? You'll definitely find a tutorial video showing you how to do that, or whatever it is. How do I don't know, how do I design my own logo? You can find tons of videos on that. Or how do I do a podcast? There's lots and lots of videos of how to do that. This information is free to you now. And it's the exact same information that those other big successful businesses are using. So you are smart enough to do this on your own, and you do have the tools available to you. And then another reason that you can do this is that you don't need all the bells and whistles right out of the gate. You don't need to have the best logo or the flashiest website right now in your first month of business. I think a lot of people get caught up with looking like a professional business or looking like their top competitor who's making hundreds of millions of dollars a year. Like, well, I don't look like Oprah, or I don't look like whoever. But you don't need that right as you're starting, and you can still earn money even if you don't have the flashiest website or the coolest looking logo. We talk about this in Startup in 60, where we get you from idea to fully functioning business in 60 days. And that's continually moving forward. So you don't have time to debate, do I use this shade of purple or this shade of purple? You make a choice and you move forward. You don't have time to debate, like, I don't know, should I do this package or that package? You just have to move forward. You can't get hung up on perfectionism. You can't get hung up on overthinking because you simply don't have time to do it. This is why people think it takes years and years to start a business, because they weigh all the little different options, all these decisions that don't need hours or days or weeks to be made, that you can actually make in 1 minute, which is what we do in the whole program. We move you forward quickly, making decisions. because I'd rather you have a website up that's functioning, that can take payments, that has a picture of you on there, than spend years debating about the shade of purple in your logo. I'm saying that because I had a client who took a long, long time choosing the exact shade of purple because she thought if she didn't get the purple just right, that people wouldn't buy from her. I know it sounds ridiculous, but when it's your business, when it's your baby, you feel things are like precious to you, and you get caught up on details that really aren't important. So one of the first things we do in Startup in 60 is to get you to drop your perfectionism and to stop debating things endlessly and to just make quick decisions, because that's the only way that you're going to serve your clients and earn money, is to have a functioning business. And if you're taking forever trying to get the right angle for your headshot, that's not serving your customers. So the last thing I want to say about you being smart enough to start a business is that you can just bloom where you're planted. This is something I tell my clients over and over and over again, is to bloom where you're planted. So that means maybe things aren't perfect for you right now. I don't know anyone who's got the perfect life, but maybe things aren't perfect for you right now. Like maybe you don't have the best lighting situation, or maybe your internet's a little slow, or maybe whatever it is, you're working in a very noisy neighborhood. That happened to me. I spent the last year in a very, very noisy neighborhood, which made it very difficult for me to work. Or maybe you just like, something is not perfect right now. You don't have the money for this really, really flashy thing that you want. That's okay. Bloom where you're planted. So take where you are right now, be grateful for where you are right now, and do the very, very best that you can where you're at right now. And that has served me so well in the 10 years that I've been running my life coaching business, because I've had to deal with lots of ups and downs, but I could always do my best where I was at. So 10 years ago, you can go to YouTube and watch some of my really old videos. 10 years ago, I didn't have a great camera for YouTube. I didn't know anything about editing, so I just recorded my videos in one long take. I didn't have the best wardrobe. I didn't have the best lighting or anything, but I was earning money because I was putting something out there to serve my clients. And that's what I want for you. Like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, your business is going to be completely different than what you create today. But you can still earn money, serve your clients, and put something beautiful out into the world right where you're at right now. So that's what I'm going to say about you being smart enough to start your own business. Yes, there will always be that fear of failure, but failing isn't so bad, and failing actually helps you become a better business owner. All right, that's all I got about facing your fear of failure. If you like this and you want to work through more of your excuses, your procrastination, your fears, and anything else that's been holding you back and tripping you up while you've been trying to start a business, I invite you to join Startup in 60, which is available right now. So click the link in the description of this video to sign up for Startup in 60. Like I said before, this is a time management course for busy women who are ready to finally start their own businesses, whether they have 60 days, 60 minutes, or even just 60 seconds. So every day you watch a new video lesson. There are 60 video lessons, and then you choose to do either a 60-minute or a 60-second task to move yourself forward. So even if you're doing the 60-second tasks, you're still building your business, growing your audience, creating your packages and services, and really serving your clients. So click the link in the description and join us for Startup in 60. And here's why you should join us now, because starting November 4th, we begin a live session of Startup in 60. And the live session is when there are weekly group calls with me where you can interact with me, get answers to your specific questions, and support your fellow life editors. So yeah, of course you can do Startup in 60 on your own at your own pace. But it's really nice to have that group dynamic, to have me as your coach right there with you, answering your questions. And it's really, really great. I see a lot of improvement and a lot of people reaching their goals faster during a live session. All right, so that's all I got for you today. I don't see any other comments coming in. If you're watching the replay, either on Facebook or YouTube, or as I upload this into the Clubhouse, go ahead and leave a comment. Tell me about your fears. Tell me, was there anything that made you feel like you weren't smart enough to start a business? I would love to continue this conversation with you. All right, I will see you tomorrow for the last day of Face Your Fear Week, and it's going to be a good one. And I thank you so much for being here with me today, and I will talk to you again real soon. Bye, Life Editors.